D Week. D stands for Dixie Week. Everything about Dixie.
I don't really know anything about D Week.
I don't really know too much about it. I just heard about like the Great Race and a whole bunch of other stuff that they're doing all week.
D Week to me it's an opportunity to celebrate what Dixie is and what it represents. We've had 100 years of history, or more than that now, at Dixie, and there's so many great stories about how Dixie has made an impact on people's lives. And so it's amazing to me to see all the people come back, all the alumni, and come back and say, wow, like I laid this sod here. I was a part of what Dixie is today. And what Dixie is something unique to everyone because it's their personal connection with Dixie. And so D Week is an opportunity to help celebrate what Dixie is all about, what it means to each of us individually, and just to honor what Dixie is and to just kind of get a feeling for the Dixie spirit. And it's interesting because the Dixie spirit is something kind of elusive because it means something different to every person. But yeah, D Week is an opportunity to celebrate what Dixie means to each person individually and to celebrate Dixie in its last 100 years.
So D Week has been such a fun tradition. There are 2 times each year that students and alumni look forward to on the campus more than any other time. One is homecoming, but the second is D Week.
Well, personally it's my favorite week of the year. There's so many wonderful activities. It's always in the spring, the weather's nice, people start being outside. But the history of D Week goes back to just a few years after after the school was founded, when the D was put onto the Black Hill, which isn't so black anymore, but they still call it the Black Hill. And in 1914 is what the history books say that D Week began with D-Day. It was actually a big community celebration because the D had been constructed and finished, and it was sort of the community statement about we're here, we finally have an institution of higher education in our community.
D Week started clear back in 1913. The classes had the Dixie up on the Red Hill, and so the class of 1913 went up and painted 13 after Dixie on the hill. The next morning it said 14. So that night, the class of 13 went back and changed it to 13, and when, lo and behold, the next morning when the class of 14 saw that, they plotted to go up that night and change it to 14. And it went on for a while, and it was really dividing the community. And so they decided in 1914 that they would build the D up on the Black Hill. And that actually was built in 1915. They went up and the Atkin family donated the land to the Alumni Association, and the D was built upon the Black Hill, and it was all built with labor from students. Students went up and moved rocks and worked for 2 days on putting that D up on the hill.
Well, one of my favorite events with D Week is the Great Race, and that's actually the event that I got invited to be a part of. I did the bicycling part of the Great Race, and this event was huge years ago. They used to river raft down the Virgin River, they used to ride horseback, they used to ride motorcycles and things across Four Master Ridge. And while it's evolved and changed a little bit, in my opinion, that's one of the most awesome events that D Week has for us. And so that is my favorite for sure.
So what happens during D Week is Monday is the kickoff, just getting everything started, getting everybody informed of what's going on. Tuesday is the D Queen Pageant, and that's the tradition where it started in 1922, where it's the queen of the school. And on Wednesday, we're having a comedian, his name is Jeff Dye. And then Thursday is breaking a world record. And Friday is the Great Race, which is the biggest part of D Week. And then the carnival that's right after. Saturday morning is Whitewashing the D up on the hill, and then just little events throughout the day, like with the alumni. The alumni's having an evening of Dixie kind of thing, giving out some awards. And then Saturday night is the D-Day dance, and then Saturday at midnight is True Rebel, where you kiss in the fountain and become a true rebel.
So we would of course have the Queen Contest, which has been a tradition for a long time, and we never want to see it go away. It's such a great tradition that's been going on for, you know, since 13 or
One of the oldest.
yes, it is one of the oldest events that takes place on this campus.
The purpose of the D Queen pageant is, in my opinion, really important. I think it is. Pageants are an opportunity to help honor womanhood, in my mind. And I think this is a great opportunity to show what Dixie has as far as, you know, what we represent and what we honor as womanhood here. So I support, you know, the D Queen and, you know, the Miss Dixie pageant that we have here, because I think it's important that we honor the women that we have here at Dixie, and we like to put them on that stage to help represent what we do here and what means a lot to us. Part of the great race is you have a baton, and there's several teams, and those consist of different clubs or organizations on campus, or just friends that want to get together and have a team. So you put a team together and you have this baton, and it's a relay race where, for example, you'll start out and you'll answer questions about Dixie, and then they'll run a lap and they'll hand it to the next person, and they'll take it to a person who's at the swimming pool, and they'll swim a couple laps, and they'll run and give it to the next person who runs, and it goes to the mud pit obstacle course. And it's a big mud pit with obstacles in there, and they just, I mean, you get totally soaked. It's awesome. Did it last year. And then they do the basketball shot, and they do push-ups, and they do the bicycling through campus. I've done that a few times. That's probably my favorite, that and the mud pit. And so there's all sorts of fun things, and rollerblading and running, and it's a great time. Not quite as hardcore as river rafting, but you know, it's a good time.
On your mark, get set.
My favorite memory of D Week would have to be Whitewashing the D. It's one of the lower scale activities, I guess. There's usually about 100 or less people that show up, but it's just really fun because you go up on the hill early in the morning and watch the sunrise and sing the school song and paint the D, and it's just really fun to look over St. George.
6 a.m. baby, 6 a.m. Gonna start mixing the whitewash.
Our tradition included breakfast as we whitewash the D, and it still has been that way all these many, many decades. And so people need to get up early. But the thing is, if you don't come, it only takes, if we have a lot of people, it doesn't take very long. Last year we were done in 20 minutes, you know. And so it's a social event, come and have some yummy food and be with people. But if you're not there right on time, you miss it.
A lot of people think it's a ghost, but the Dixie Spirit is not a ghost. The Dixie Spirit is a feeling that you have in your heart. It's a love for this institution. It's the can-do attitude.
That is the big question, and it's different. It's slightly different for every person. And that phrase, Dixie Spirit, feel it, hear it, comes from a song. And it says, the Dixie Spirit, you can feel it, you can hear it when your sentimental heartbeat starts to charge, as they make fun of the way that the old timers would speak here in St. George. And that comes from a song called Big D. And as we were brainstorming with the student leaders about themes, and someone threw that one out, oh, it just is exciting. And So when people say, what is the Dixie Spirit? What the Dixie Spirit is to me is going to be different than what it is to you, and what it is to you, and what it is to you, and everybody kind of has their own unique take. And that's what I said, go back to what I said before. If you can get involved and find those social connections, you're going to find what the Dixie Spirit is to you. To me, when I tell people what it is, I explain it as it's what happens when you have a relationship with other people at Dixie that creates that Dixie Spirit.
Tell them why you're glad. 'Cause it's summer, summertime in the city. Summer, summertime in the city, city. Summer, summertime in the city. The city we go home. The sun in the skies rising high and always shining. People passing by always smiling when we're riding low. So get low. Cooling out on a hot summer day. Chilling out, I'm glad you walked my way. You got a kick to your step, a smile that you rep, a joy all your own when we're driving out west. 'Cause it's summer, summertime in the city. Summer, summertime in the city, city. Summer, summertime in the city. The city we go home. 'Cause it's summer, summertime in the city. Summer, summertime in the city, city. Summer, summertime in the city. The city we go home. All of the people in the city feeling the heat wave. Think we ought to jump in the water until the sun goes low. So let's go.